Welcome everybody. We have two flagship smartphones on the table, or two mid-range smartphones on the table, you could say, since we have here the Apple iPhone SE, which is the smaller version of the Apple iPhone 6s or 6s Plus, with no optical image stabilizer for the camera and no 3D touch, so there's no force touch built in, so if I press the screen a little bit harder, nothing will happen. Otherwise, it's exactly the same hardware for almost half the price here with the Apple iPhone SE, starting at $399 for 16 gigabytes. That's really quite amazing. So Sony came out half a year ago also with a similarly awesome product, which everybody waited for after the Z1 and the Z3 compact. Now we have the Z5 compact, and it's really amazing in terms of battery life, in terms of screen size, 4.6 inches in a really tiny body. You will see that in a second. And also it's around about the same price point right now as the iPhone, but you're not limited to the 32 gigabytes internal memory, because you can upgrade that via micro SD quite easily, and therefore that's again already a plus point here for the Sony Xperia Z5 compact compared to the Apple iPhone 6 or the Apple iPhone SE. So if I put both devices on top of each other, you will right away see that the Sony is a little bit wider and thicker, and we have here 7.6 millimeters versus 8.9 millimeters. So there is a lot of space here for Sony's bigger battery, which is 2700 milliamps big compared to 1600 on the iPhone. So that's almost 50% more. If you want to be exact, it's around 40% more. And as you can see also in the height, the iPhone is a little bit smaller here than the Sony, but otherwise if you just put them right next to each other, it looks quite amazing. As you can see here, that the Sony has a lot bigger screen, a lot bigger screen size, but the iPhone is not that much smaller. So we have here the fingerprint reader for the Sony. Yes, it has one built in just on the side. We have a dedicated camera button, which Apple also doesn't have. Volume rockers are also available on Apple, obviously on this side, and the headset jack is on the Apple on the bottom. And this is a microphone again, so you have seen the bottom part with the microphone, but Sony has dual speakers on the front, which is also really nice design because you can barely see them, and Apple still only has one speaker on the bottom for listening to music. So it's turned on both. I haven't set up the fingerprint reader on the Sony because I don't use it that often, but obviously both have a quite nice fingerprint reader. The Sony is actually of a friend of mine, so that's why the display protection foil is still on the front on there, so we won't have a perfect picture for the front camera comparison, but otherwise on the back they both look beautiful. We have on both really great cameras, but here we have 23 megapixels compared to 12 megapixels. Also dual flash on the iPhone. That's a win for Apple because Sony only has a single flash LED here on the back. Otherwise, NFC both built in, but Sony has a complete waterproof case, so even though all the ports and everything are open, you can still put it underwater for half an hour for 1.5 meters deep, and that's really quite nice if you would accidentally drop into the water or just want to listen to music in the shower. Sony can do that for you. Apple does not allow you that, except for if you buy a case for it, then you might enjoy a little bit of shower music or don't have to worry about for example rain or anything else outdoors. So otherwise, obviously hardware-wise, Apple is usually on the low end, because we only have a dual-core processor, we only have 2 gigs of RAM, and Sony has 8 cores and even 3 gigs of RAM. But if you run on both of them benchmark called Antutu, you will see that that doesn't matter much, since even though the resolution is about the same in terms of pixel density, HD resolution on both, just a little bit lower on the iPhone, you will see that the iPhone has more than double the result here when it comes to the score in this benchmark, which results to just a better optimization of the software. But otherwise, if you check out the system itself, both are really quite quick, and we can run on both the same game to show you guys that both handle obviously the same stuff quite nicely. So let me actually show or check if the game is not running in the background here. Let me also close everything that could be running in the background, and let's just open up this Tomb Raider Relic Run, which is my app for comparing speeds. So Apple already loaded the game. Sony is still thinking a little bit. I think it's maybe even the first time that Sony is loading this game, and I'm not sure if it, yeah, I'm sorry about that. So we have to probably redo the test since Sony never ran the game before, it just pre-installed it. So I can review it later. There will be a lot of questions, so I have to restart the whole test. Let me close it up again here on the the iTunes, the Apple version will definitely win also in the next test, but Sony will be just a lot faster without having to check all the protocols again and again that you're able to see right now. So let me actually close it up here. And let's start again from scratch. So again, Apple just takes a few seconds with less RAM and just 2 cores instead of 8 cores for the Sony. Same display resolution, almost 1280 times 720, and here it's 640 times 1136. So let's do the same beginner's run here with just run the first 100 meters. Both the colors and saturation and everything looks identical, I would say. The colors are not identical, but both are really quite good on your eyes, I would say. The Sony is a little bit more struggling here with the game in terms of it's just lagging a bit more. But we handled both levels fine because they were quite easy, but yeah, you can see that everything is running quite quickly and smoothly. Now let's go to the camera, an important feature obviously of both devices, and let's start with the camera on the back, where we can definitely see that both open up quite quickly and have beautiful pictures and fast focus, and also both are in a nice wide angle. The Sony is stuttering maybe a little bit more if I move around panning here with the latest software that I just installed today, Marshmallow, on the Sony, but otherwise color-wise and detail-wise both are definitely great, and both can record 4K videos. Now, as I said, the front camera will be not perfect on the Sony in terms of sharpness, but what we can definitely see is the wide angle, and the wide angle is on both about identical. The screen is just a little bit bigger here, and obviously with the Sony having 5.1 megapixel and the Apple having 1.2, the Sony would be a little bit sharper probably, but I think usually it's around about the same, since Apple does a lot of polarization and just cleaning up the pixels, so even 1 megapixel looks amazing. So otherwise, yeah, as I said, both I love, but the Sony has just a way bit better battery life. It's waterproof, and it's just a bigger screen in almost the same sized case, you could say. Just maybe the design is not for everybody, even though they have this metal body on the outside. Yeah, and also obviously different colors available. The iPhone just looks a little bit more premium. The Sony is more of a I get my things done device, or at least it looks like it. So thank you much for tuning in. This was a really short comparison between the Sony Xperia Z5 Compact and the Apple iPhone SE. The next time, please, and again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos, comparisons, and just tech stuff from all around the world. Thank you much for watching, and see you guys around.